Hi everyone, welcome back. Blender part 2, as it were. Just continue off. I haven't really touched this at all since yesterday, so we're just gonna, what's it called? Leave this. Sorry, we're gonna basically resume from over yesterday, and the main thing I think I'm gonna try and do today is modelling the doors, and then if we're really lucky, might get to model some wheels as well. But at the moment I'm just trying to get rid of some additional edges here, which I don't want, as it were. That's fine. So, yeah, just gonna try here. It could be slightly awkward, potentially. Making a face here, but it could be, yeah, a little bit awkward. Hence, I'm sort of having to think about how I do this, but but I think I know. But yeah, perhaps just need to try a couple of experiments here, you know. But okay, so there's a few points here I've got to try and add in. First one would be here, I guess. Go to X-ray view to try and see. Okay, I see. I just need a couple of points here, so I can link these 2 points here and same on the other side. Yeah, kind of doing this the hard way again, but because I need to add in a point on this line just here. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure what's causing, apart from the solidify modification, not sure what exactly is causing this to happen. But we'll go with that for now, I think. I might just want to adjust the angle of that ever so slightly. I also think now I can see what's causing that issue we were having before. There's 2 points here which aren't linked because when I delete the faces in the middle. Edge select is not the best in this situation because there's so many points. It's a little bit easy to select the wrong one, but anywho. I mean, this would have been easier to do back when I started the mirror modifier, but yeah, you live and learn, as it were. Or, as my engineering teacher used to say, hopefully you live. Okay, so we've still got an issue here of some kind of edge with more than 4 points, because we can't put insert an edge here. So let me think about this. It'd be almost easier if this was a separate object, but it'd almost be easier if this was deleted entirely and start again, kind of thing. At least this side. Maybe this side as well. So yeah, we'll do that, I think. Okay, so there's an extra edge here somewhere. So hopefully in the X-ray view I can see where that. Sorry, what that is. Interesting that. So probably need to just bring this one. Well, do we do G? Yeah, that kind of does what I want. Just want to get it to be more of a square, more than anything. Still something here. Don't know quite how that's got in place, but there we go. Now let's try and straighten this side out a bit as well. Potentially a better thing than kind of sticking out, because that's kind of what the pictures sort of indicate here, because it's not a display board, it's more of a some vents, but I'd rather it be a display board in a sense. So if we deleted these, and I suppose do something similar to the windows, I would say, but they're slightly different material. Figure this can be a reasonable, not an unreasonable topology wise, and then we could extrude it back ever so slightly. To be fair, I think I could do a better job filling it in myself, but yeah. Yes. Now we'll select all his faces and try to do another inset. Yeah, I mean, all I really want here is, yeah, kind of something like that. But I suppose it kind of messes up the geometry ever so slightly, but something like that would be good. But we undo that for now. Yeah, I mean, that geometry is not so bad. Undo the extrusion for a second. I suspect part of the problem we're having is the way it wants to. Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. There we can add another edge to make it straighter, or just move this edge again. so it's more level, I guess, if that's even possible. It'd be best just to do that. And this side's actually pretty good, so I'm gonna say we don't need that. And yeah, I'm overall happy with that. Slight bulge in the middle, but I think that's fine. So yeah, that's cool. So I suppose now we can move on to the doors. Which might not be as bad as I'm envisioning. Because I was essentially just going to select an edge, duplicate it, and then fill it in where needed. So we do that, separate that. And arguably we could hide literally everything else in the scene. Yeah, we'll do that. Hide everything else. For once, follow good practices. Turn down the opacity of this because I am struggling to see the actual thing I'm trying to work on. This guy. So yeah, there we go. That's a little better. There are several of these points we don't actually need at the moment. They're just there because they were there from the object we duplicated, so we can get rid of them. We'll add in points as we need them, but for now I kind of just want a face I can start with. Oops. Oh yeah, we'll add in, well, these points as well to them, but these also serve a purpose as well for the actual doors, as it were. I could model one and mirror it, so let's be smart about this and do it that way. Probably gotta add in that point up here as well. We want the y-axis, but probably want to unhide the main body and set that as the mirroring object, I would guess. Or maybe we just need to adjust where the origin point is. There we go, that's the trick. I will hide that again now. And always select clipping for your mirror, otherwise you get this. That's probably fine. We kind of want a gap anyway, so yeah. So we'll add that there and kind of start roughly tracing the shape of this door window. And again, I'm so focused on this that if I don't read a chat message immediately, that's why, because it does require a fair bit of focus to do this. Do it well anyway. Okay, so the next bit, just here. So the problem here is it's not actually following the shape currently of this bit, so we can fix that at the end. We'll basically add in all the points we need and kind of snap them together, and then what's the word? Merge the points once we're done. But for now, we won't worry about it too much. Now time to merge some points together. Okay, there's two edges here, and it's a little bit tricky to work out which one is which, but I think we don't want that edge. Oops. Edge is what we want to delete. I mean, let me know, by the way, about the stream quality, because I'm using another method today to multi-stream. And the previews look okay to me, I think. But yeah, yeah, let me know if there's any issues. I mean, currently they're telling me excellent, but I don't always trust what YouTube and Twitch tell me. Alright, so I suppose all we need to do now is the windows. Okay, right, yeah, that's just a thing with, what's it called? Not having X-ray mode on, but anyway, yeah. P selection. Oops. Oopsie. Keep getting myself mixed up between edit and object mode, and being able to tell what mode I'm in. Anyway. Okay, let's make that a bit smaller of a inset if we can, because we want it to be mostly glass. And then what I'll do, apply this, apply this, apply this, and we'll assign the glass material to it. And the plastic, yeah. To be fair, I should have done that before I applied my modifiers, specifically my subdivision surface modifier, but whether I can go back far enough to... Oh, I can. Cool. think the fix to that is probably to do with that. Yeah, it's not too. Yeah, it's not too bad. We'll do an auto smooth on it, and we'll try applying our modifiers now. That's not too bad. Now this one might be slightly easier. Might not be. Fortunately, because of the geometry, there's not a huge amount we can do about that necessarily, but can certainly add in points in places just to. It does help it a bit, but not everywhere. To be fair, taking off the subdivision would help with that. And what I can do, bit of a cheating method, but by hitting K and force it to make a load down there and a load up here. Oh, you hit A when you hit K, it makes the line go straight. Yeah, that's a bit better, I think. It's by no means perfect, but it'll do the job for what we want. Okay, now the final set of windows. It's the same deal as here, but we can kind of cheatily fix that. In that case, yeah, got rid of that subdivision surface. Anyway, so that's one set of doors, and I'm pretty sure I can just copy that over to the back within reason. Select all them, go in this view, cool, right, okay, so I'll rename these now. Nice, yeah, I like that. There's a few odd gaps there, which, to be fair, something I should have attempted to address before on this one before applying the modifiers. So yeah, it's a good question really about, do we want to bend it more or kind of leave the gaps? How easy that would be to adjust. Oops, wrong mode again. We could try it, turn on like snapping and see what happens. Okay, it kind of works, and let's add in another point to this. Go into this view. Yeah, I mean, it's different, that's for sure. And then the top can just go in a bit, I think. Oops. And we'll do the same with these doors. I suppose the only thing about doing that is the mirror is now a bit messy, so we might say let's not do that. It'd be easier if they're just straight. And I think the issue came when we got rid of when I okay, so I could do this again potentially. The issue came when I said, well, you know, we don't need all those points on the frame. Let's get rid of them. We actually do, because it does the thing. It maintains the shape. So, yeah, we will start this process over. Still second time lucky. Always be a little better at it, potentially. Yeah, I might not separate it this time. Might keep it like that. But it becomes the issue that like double vertices and such. So yeah, I think I will separate the thing if I can select it. That is. Oh yeah, and we'll hide the other objects as well. With the exception of the object we're working on at the moment. Coming up on an hour before too long. Oh, just at an hour now, so this would actually be a good time to take a quick break. So I'll be back in just a few minutes. Okay, I am back. So I'll just try and make a start on the door this time, not getting rid of all the points that are necessary. So, yeah, back to this view that we were in about 40 minutes ago. Okay, that's fine. I can make that adjustment at the end. I believe you can kind of slide it in, as it were, to where it needs to go. And this seems to be the problem I have again and again with the solidify modifier, is it's just not really doing what I want it to. So I may turn it off, but I suppose the problem here is that we have an extra vertex that is there possibly. So what it? Oh, it was a dot on my screen. Okay, interesting. Okay, I think I can kind of see the problem here. The issue caused by that solidify modifier. And I'm say moving towards turning it off if I'm 100% honest, because of all these issues it's causing. But yeah, I'm gonna turn off my solidify modifier because that just isn't working how I want it to. And the mad reason I have it on is to not have to do extrusions to deal with more vertices, but then you don't necessarily have to do that to the end anyway, so it feels a bit like, you know, just working harder, not smarter, as it were. So yeah. Anyway, back to what we were gonna do. So that's annoying. So there's obviously something here which has got more than 4 vertices. And at the moment I am not seeing it. I see, why is that there? Maybe that's what's been causing me all the issues I've been having. And potentially adding the solidify modifier now, it would work properly. Potentially. And it is. Ah, okay. But yeah, don't understand why I had a double face there. That's quite annoying, to say the least, in fact. Trying to hide the body ever so often just to see if it's sitting flush, which currently it is. So leave that there. Carry on. And again, feel like I'm working harder here. Use the mirror modifier, god damn it. I just need to work out how to delete all these vertices. Hopefully if I just add one in the middle there, I can delete everything else. And you can bet when I finish this door and got it right, I'm definitely copying it to the back. There's starting to get a problem here where it's starting to twist, it would appear. But that's because of the way when we're extruding upwards, it's not doing it on the same kind of profile level as this. So we can adjust that. If I was in the right sort of view, it would be easier, but I'll try it from this way. Hopefully that's more like it in one place anyway. These other points will have to adjust. I mean, I realise the problem is if I go directly up on the z-axis, it's going to go try and go 90 degrees up and not necessarily follow what we're doing. So yeah, it's a little bit tricky this, but equally it's also possible at the same time. Maybe better to extrude out these points that are there out already, I guess. And that way we're connecting to something that's already there versus trying to guess where it is my theory anyway. We could extrude this. Well, let's say we could extrude it down, but the potential issue there is that, again, with lack of points, if we just do that, you can see it's not quite where we want it, so we'd have to do it slightly differently. We'd have to follow it to each point down here, and so it'd be easier just to wait. I think be the best thing to do that. I'm just really trying to get an outline at the moment. is all I'm trying to do. Just to something to work on. And definitely better to do this with the mirror modifier if you can. So potentially do the same thing now this side with a bit of turn off snapping temporarily to get that where I wanted and then go from there. Gotta turn snapping back on. That's the other problem with doing it that way. Now I wonder about a mirror modifier itself for the bloody door. The door of the door. If I was to turn that mirror modifier off, again roughly halve that, delete those, really half that, and then you'd change the origin point, but that's okay. Yeah, kind of. That's kind of what we want. But so you got to turn on clipping and do this as well. Okay, interesting. This edge can probably go up ever so slightly. Well, turns out it can't because it wasn't doing the Z value properly. So more annoyance there. I meant to do 0, 5 there, not 5, but yeah. Oh, okay. Right, so try and work out where so we can add some points here that will achieve what we're wanting with the frames. But yeah, funny one really. And the axis thing really drives me mad sometimes, trying to extrude stuff and you think you're on one axis, you're not, it's switched to another, and you're just like, really? Really? There we go. That's kind of what I wanted there. Essentially got one window shape here, which is kind of working, kind of not, but let's dissolve that edge. And same here, just so we hopefully don't end up with double edges again. Okay, so first window shape's fine, the second one we just need to add a couple of points here, I think. Okay, so that's probably fine. I guess the question about the windows really, about what we want to do there. Because ideally we want some sort of extrusion, something like that. But yeah, I'd, as tempting as it is, yeah, we do need to probably duplicate that. This guy I'm going to increase the solidify ever so slightly. So I have to do something a little bit clever for the frame, I think. Although to be fair, this could be done more precisely if we did the whole thing and selected grid fill. But the only thing I need to consider is if I do this, then I need to add in the points at various places along it so I can match it with this. But before I do that, take a quick stretch. Because I think my focus is getting a bit too much. And I'm starting to cramp up a bit. I'm just trying to think, would it affect the shape too much if I got rid of this one point? I don't think it will, so I'm going to get rid of that. Here and here. Now the fun old snapping part. Cool, I'm fairly happy with that. Might just need to add in the smooth modifier. It's not already there, or apply it. Yeah, that's good. Happy with that. I suppose the question could be, can I copy that down? But it's probably too complex of a shape to copy. Easier just to start over. So we'll do that. And the good news is once we've done this door, we can just mirror it next to it and then copy the whole thing over to the back. And overall we have done less work, even if it doesn't necessarily feel like it. So yeah. Oh yeah, I probably did mention it already, but this will be my last live stream of 2025. The next one will be in the new year, I guess, on, well, maybe Friday. Or sometime over the weekend. But yeah, no, it overall has been fun this year. It's been some difficulties in one's personal life, which have caused me not to stream as much and have quite a big gap for about 3 or 4 months. But these things happen, so I think I've made the best out of what I can for the rest of the year. So yeah, overall I would say I'm happy. And yeah, next stream, yeah, hopefully Friday. So yeah, effectively a stream on the 2nd of January. Crazy. Potentially this bit could be easier in some way because this bit of the door is flatter, so there's not as much that needs adjusting, but probably still a bit that we need to adjust. But yeah. And potentially there is only one point I need to adjust, which is just here. Turn snapping back on to do that. Yeah, frame on this one's a little tricky, but Then again, that's okay. So we can now assign our main material and select the outer edges best we can. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points I've got to add in there, I think. Thereabouts. At least on the top, not to mention the bottom. But so we just think, yeah, just start adding points in. Okay, so better here to go across, because then we can add in the other points we need more easily. So we ignore these 2 points for now, and then we'll add in, yeah, we'll add in those at the end, I think. Correct the direction of the faces, and then we'll add in the final 2 points if I can find my mouse. I will assign that material again. I'd prefer I do forgetting about Control L and linking materials, but yeah, cool. And then select the edges. Oh, cool, I'm happy with that. So let's apply all the modifiers for these, I think, for the windows anyway, and we'll join them up. We'll leave that in place, these modifiers in place for now, on this door, just until we've copied it over. Although I guess we will need to apply. Question of how we're going to do this. Applying that mirror modifier first, I think, and then change the origin point to here. And add in another mirror modifier. And same with the glass, I guess. Technically, mirroring object should be this guy. Cool. I just want to test something on this, which was the decimate modifier, but by doing unsubdivide, just to see if it works. But yeah, I guess it does, because originally this has 8,000 faces and now it has 2. So, but I suppose if you were crazy, do it manually as well. But let's just try that. Yeah, it's probably a bit better. And okay, so if we do that now, it's a bit no more noticeable. So we'll leave it like that. Leave it like that for now. Yeah, in general, that's a fair bit better than what we had, especially on the front door. So yeah, I mean the back door's a little bit skew with there, but overall I'm happy with that, and a quick adjustment of the body would probably fix that. Yeah, cool. I'm happy with that. I think the windows in. So now if we, well, probably should rename this first before doing anything else. So let me, I think unhide everything in the scene so far. Yeah, cool. So probably a bit of organisation now, I think, if we haven't done already, of naming some stuff. Yeah. I think I named till about here and then stopped. So that's, well, to be fair, that's named. And potentially creating some folders here might help, because that's getting to be a rather long list of objects. But 2 and 1. Okay, cool. We'll join these together. Well, I wanted to, but it doesn't seem to like that. So we'll calculate that. Call this right. Yeah, so some folders I think are in order. Good thing there is if I just want to hide the windows, mostly get there. Because then I can more easily add stuff like this in. I mean, we'll call this, rename this to something like body parts. Ah, dear me, I crack me up. I don't just turn that off. Stuff I've been working on before, but probably not as good as this, I would say. But yeah, we can turn that off, but have the view on. So yeah, cool. Okay. So then some renaming potentially here, if there's anything. That needs renaming too. Probably a more accurate name would be front grills if I can spell. Oh, and then the good old roof boxes. So I think what's left, apart from the wheels, is there's some optional body detail I can add in on the sides, which are some boxes here. Of the other side, some boxes, some additional lines, as it were, grooves, some lights, wing mirrors, and these grooves here. But potentially for now we could start on a wheel. That could be an interesting process. Let's try that. So I guess start with a cylinder. We'll rotate on one of the axes. This one. Oh yeah, looking at the time, we're coming on 2 hours, so I'm going to take another quick break and I'll be back in a few. Alright, I'm back. So continue trying to make this wheel. Hopefully. It's a good question about the thickness, because something the floor is not something of this bus is not something I've done anything about yet, but I kind of like the idea about half this, I think. So well, we could do that, or do various undos and sorry, sy minus 2. Thought that would do it, but okay, I see. Sy 5. Cool. Must remember to apply scale there, and we'll move it in ever so slightly. So I always find it a bit of an interesting task trying to model a wheel, but I suppose having this reference does help a bit. But yeah, need to select this guy. Turn off that for now, because that's just going to get confusing. Effectively, something like that. In again, and then there's a unique shape here that it wants to try and do. So we could potentially delete that middle face for that reason. Yeah, the other option would be to extrude in further and then just pull out the middle face, but yeah, I can see why some folk don't like doing that, but I might think about doing that. Insert it again and then kind of bring that out again. Some textures could help with this, like the plastic, and then the inside bit we do plus. Like that. Yeah, so it doesn't look terrible. It's just a low quality one. I mean, potentially, like if we were to apply subdivision to this, we could do something more interesting with the overall kind of shape, and do stuff with the kind of like almost treads on the wheels, almost. For me, that kind of makes some things look better. Like if I had a little ring round here. Same with this. I mean, the tread, I'm just trying to think if the wheel kind of is meant to go in like the tyre this way a bit. Probably not, but what we could do is add some points in here, and it looks more like a bulge than anything. kind of want to just select every other thing. You do something like this. And if there's a way I could say, maybe have this again, so like that and that face. I mean, because if I do, it's Alt G. Now, gotta look it up, what the select similar command is. Yeah, so Shift G will like similar area, but that selects more than I want. Let's just try it on a couple of faces, see how it looks. Yeah, because I'm not a fan of that. So potentially if we do like an automatic schmove, it kind of does what we want. But at the same time it's like a bold tire, so it's a little bit of an interesting one. I mean, there's potentially a way to do this with creating one kind of face and then arraying that round. I've seen that done before, so I might try that. But this is a basic shape for now is okay, I guess. And if we can select a ring, these ring of faces. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's kind of what I want. So maybe we somehow reduce the area over here, like delete this ring of faces, or this edge, and then just do fill that. Yeah, yeah, that's kind of good. I suppose this guy I can scale this to, yeah, something like that. I quite like. Oh, we could put bolts in and stuff like that as well. But model like bolts to go on. I mean, it doesn't have to look exactly like the real thing, but it's kind of similar-ish. Let me think about this array method for a second. Suppose you try it with the bolts. I suppose what I'm thinking is one of these. Yeah, this, we could duplicate this P and convert to curve and apply all transforms. And effectively what we'd be saying is, put a bolt here and then kind of make it go all the way around the curve kind of thing. Theory that sounds great, but reality is may not work 100%. But at least it looks like it's got similar wheels on the back to the front, so we might just, although we might model a different wheel for the back, Not sure yet. Perhaps stick with this for now, if it ends up looking alright. Trying to select the curve there, but it's proving slightly tricky. And it might actually be too small, so we'll delete that. Go back to this, and then we'll add in something roughly there. Shift D, P. Apply all its modifiers and convert it to a curve again. This only needs to be like 16, I think, because of the size. Or potentially like 4, because it's going to be a bolt. Or 6, maybe. No, 4. 4 sides, I reckon, and then the radius like 0.2, depth 0.2. Okay, probably needs more than that. So let's try 8. Yeah, looks a bit more like a bolt. Needs scaling down ever so slightly, I reckon. Certainly on that, what's it called? This axis. We'll do something roughly there and get rid of the back face again. Another face. Right, so we're going to try add a array and curve modifier to this. Probably better to rename that to bolt curve so we know which one if we end up with multiple curves. Oops. Let's add a okay, so one of these is not quite set right, clearly. Wonder if it's this guy, or if it's more likely this guy. Okay, so it's probably the direction that the bolt is facing, so we turn these off for now. Because effectively what you want, I can show you, is when you're doing an array modifier, you want it to go in a straight line and not the other way. But as you can see at the moment, it's not doing anything, so that's a bit interesting. I don't really know where it's trying to take them, so... But essentially, just do a row... Oh, look at that, its origin point's well off. So I obviously didn't do that. So, let's try it, put it back to curve again. So it does that until we put the curve modifier on. It's like still well off. Maybe it's the origin of the curve, perhaps? Yeah, probably is. So let's... Well, I'll tell you what, let's turn that off for now. I'm going to convert this back to a mesh. Do its origin at the bottom, I reckon. Let's get into a point where I should create another collection for the wheels. Try this again. So potentially we should still rotate this 90 degrees, but okay, I think I know it needs to go. Yeah, one of these directions needs changing, that's for sure. X is kind of is not it. Y is probably not it. Oh, it is. Okay. Interesting. So I don't know why the curve modifier is not working, but if that kind of works, I'm vaguely happy with that. What we could do is adjust the position of his curve slightly. There we go. Give the bolts a material. We'll do plastic for now, potentially. Or some kind of chrome material. Jesus. What about this material, but let's bring down the roughness and turn the metallic value up quite high. 0.6. Whether we need to add a slight bevel modifier. Yeah, so it's not such hard edges, but we'll turn this down a bit. Yeah, okay, so that's cool for now. So we could copy that over to the other side. Uh, hmm. Yeah, we'll copy that over to the other side. Yeah, of course, mirror modifier for this. I could have done, but for now I just wanted the same wheel, roughly, that I could independently edit. There's a body we could give a material to, I guess. I don't know what so far. I'd probably go with a new material. Like red or something. That kind of shows off some of the areas that don't perhaps render so well, but well, it's kind of okay. Just want to adjust the actual colour, to be honest. Slightly a darker type red. As the doors, I guess similar kind of colour. If we were to link the materials up. But was the other thing, see, something you can do with these materials, under the shading tab, is you can add in a couple of things you can do. Noise texture for the normal map, but I don't really like doing that because you get an effect often like this, which is just looks awful on something like this. It kind of needs to be either much smaller or like go like 60 odd. It looks like kind of cool, almost like weird paint effects. So maybe go even higher, like 80. Turn up the detail, that kind of thing. And turn up the roughness and that kind of thing. And the other thing I kind of like is the ambient occlusion, especially on a model like this, where we basically use this, and this can give some like shadows and stuff to the thing, but in theory you want to mix it up, put it in a mix color node, so the color is number 1 Ambient occlusion is 2, and the factor is could maybe be the noise, and it's something like multiply or something, and put that in. And you can kind of see there's not really much of an effect, but it's probably it's kind of worth it. And so I kind of, in a way, like this, the material in the sense of the way it looks like it's very elderly, to be honest. What I will do while I think about it, take this section up here, and this is going to be a different colour for the destination display, and we're going to make that just plastic, I think. Yeah, we'll add something in the middle there to that stretch out ever so slightly. Yeah, I guess like the grill could be plastic as well. And so we like, well, headlight surrounds would be plastic, and then the inside would be like probably left some kind of white. Maybe something like actually the bottom of these could be orange. So what we'll do, we'll assign the plastic material initially, and then we'll add in another, the indicator. They don't need an exact metallic value, but just similar. Yeah, this is an interesting one to try and do. That's probably okay, actually. It's kind of what we want. overall it's not too bad. But I think I might make the door frames same colour as this. So Control L. Yeah, hold on. Try again. So I'll probably finish up there for now. But yeah, overall it's not looking too bad. And I suppose next time I work on this, if I stream or not, don't know. But I'll probably work on, I guess, the final sort of body details. The rear wheels, the floor, and some of the interior, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of funny there, having that a completely different colour. Maybe do that in... Yeah, I might just turn down the metallic value ever so slightly, that colour. Yeah. So I'll keep playing around with that colour, to be honest, but yeah. Alright, so yeah, I think I'm going to finish up here. Yeah, thanks for 2025, everyone. All the streams, I appreciate it. And yeah, till next time. Bye for now.